Okay, so we're back. Part two. Part two, part two, part two. So now, when you're I forgot what I said, but when you're in these emotions and you're like you're pining for the person and then it didn't work out the way you wanted to and whatever. I noticed that when I do my research about what it is that the issue is, and I know what the issue is because like I said, I psychoanalyze people, and oftentimes I know what the result is going to be before it happens, or at least I have an idea. But I like to be optimistic and not to be negative. Like I like to just be optimistic, even though all the signs that this is going to lead to this result. I get delusional, and I'm like, oh, but you didn't know. Like you gotta find out one way or the other, and I'm happy that I got my answers, but it doesn't take away the fact that the emotions that stemmed from that result that wasn't sounding good in my ears, it doesn't change the fact that I didn't like the feelings that, those emotional side of you. Like, what the hell? And then when you think so deeply about it, you realize that the reason why you have this obsessive emotions and thoughts, these ruminating thoughts that go in cycles and over. The reason why you have these thoughts is because you are attached. Disattach yourself and the problem gets solved. Easier said than done. But hey, before you even had those whatever, feelings or whatever, you were in your own world and you were at your own pace, but something else came and now disrupted that peaceful self-love that you have for yourself as a lonesome wolf, But now, because you attach these emotions and you attach yourself to something that is bound to either fail or not fail, or succeed. So why is it that when we know that the results end up bad, why are we heartbroken when you knew that it was going to be either a good result or a bad result? So what I'm trying to say is you have to disattach yourself when you have these emotions. I'm kind of like running around in circles in this topic, but I'm still going to get back to the point. So how I get myself back to level ground, correct my nervous system, protect myself spiritually and physically, I fast. And when you fast, alongside taking my vitamins and taking ashwagandha, I always hail ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is very powerful. Ashwagandha. It keeps you like in a balanced state of mind. Your mood is just balanced. Everything is okay. Now people be like, oh, you're self-inducing yourself with pills? Like, these are not pills. These are herbs turned into capsules. And these herbs are from the earth. And they help you balance your physical self as you're in this current reality that we're living in. So it's not really self-induced. You're helping yourself, because before there was even pills, what were you taking? Fruits, vegetables, and you were balanced. You were connected more to the earth before, all these other stuff like alcohol, weed, the other stuff that people use to cope with their emotions and whatever it is that they're going through up here in their head. So yeah, when I take my ashwagandha pills, capsules, I'm fasting, I'm balanced, I focus on what I want, I say my prayers, or I say my spells, back to sender, I do my rituals. This is what I do to get back to ground level, to ground myself, to stabilize myself. Now, it's actually much more deeper than how I'm putting it, because what I do is actually deeper than this. I can't come and say everything on the internet because, like I said, it's personal. The third part, I'm going to explain that third part. It's going to be rounding up this TED Talk of mine. But yeah, like, this is what I do. And music is sound therapy. I always emphasize that the music you listen to affects how your mind works. Listen to high vibrational music that makes you dance, that makes you feel upbeat, like in the city. I think this is me. I was thinking, in the city, You should have a Yukon. And he was like, have a Yukon. Do that. Listen to this music. Those music that make you go, oh. Those music that are high vibrational, they'll help you. Like, it starts ringing in your ear. It's like a tune. It kind of tunes you back. It's like a radio station that's not in the right spot. And you tune the radio to that station, you know, and get you back to the station that you love listening to. Or if you go and you keep going, you start hearing that scratching sound, you know, that station doesn't have any signal. There's nothing going on in that station. But if you go to keep tuning, now you land on the right station. That is how it feels when you listen to music. When you hear the right music, that music makes you can literally feel the anxiety fall off your skin. And when you listen to music with intention, you're imagining what you want to be happening to your life. You imagine if it's juju or witchcraft. You imagine the juju and witchcraft, the bad, evil, psychic attacks. You send it back to that person with the music you listen to. Even if it's country music, even if it's music from another country, who cares? But get into it, you know. Dance, spin, 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 dance, shake your body, and let the music consume you, your entire being. And when you spin in circles and you get dizzy, your head starts spinning, you start seeing things, right? You channel that childlike state of yourself, that inner child of you. You connect with it and you let the music embalm you, and you envision what you want, you envision happiness, it uplifts you. This is what I do, and it's different for people that are not really connected to themselves. If you're not connected to yourself, this might sound like gibberish to you, but if you're at least somewhat to a level that you're supposed to be connected to yourself, then this is going to make sense. So that's what I do with music, sound therapy. You practice, you sing along the musicians, like, and then when you're doing the music, you know, you go like this, like you play the music and let it just consume you. You know, you can even stick your tongue out like this. You'll be like, ah, you're like, ah, oh. That excitement. The universe watches, Mother Earth watches, and the Mother Earth is like, wow, that's my child. You know, that's like, that's, she's making me proud. Your ancestors are like, yes, that's the energy we need. You feed yourself and feed the positive energies around you. And that's how you transmute the negativity to something positive. I think in psychology it's called sublimation. I believe psychology, sublimation. You know, like today, my day was not that wonderful. And it was just a lot of other things that added from the day before, like yesterday and then today. How did I combat that feeling? Now, I'm not saying that I handled it in the present, like presently as it was happening. I'm not saying I handled it perfectly well, but I'll tell you, when I got home, I had to get to work on myself and my emotions and get myself back to ground level. Because even if I'm not feeling upright and happy and just filled with positivity, or someone just siphoning my energy, someone making me upset, or things making me upset out of my control, I can control it when I come home in my state of abode, in my peaceful environment. I can control it, and I can rewire myself back to who I am. This God, this goddess, back to this goddess state, if you know what I mean. Okay? So that is how I combat spiritual attacks, protection spells. Part 3, and that'll be my last part. Part 3 coming up. I got a few more things I want to say before I round up.